to learn how to do some simple macrame, which you can then use to have a competition with each other. Macrame is the art of knotting strings into patterns for decorative articles. It has a history in the culture of many places around the world, such as Peruvian jewellery and Arabic weavers. Before it was used decoratively, sailors would make fishing nets using the skill of macrame, which they perfected over many hours of knotting while out at sea. Now you're going to learn how to make your own macrame fishing net. All you'll need is some twine and a pair of scissors.
Start by cutting 6 pieces of twine, each 1 metre in length. Gather the 6 strands together and fold them in half. Tie them into a knot at the top, leaving a small loop. You may find it helpful to tie the loop to something to provide some resistance when you pull on the strands. Take the first 2 strands and tie them together in a knot, which is roughly 5 centimetres below the big knot at the top. Make sure you pull the knot nice and tight. Repeat this with every 2 strands until you have 6 knots which are all roughly level with each other. Making sure you leave the outer strand from the first knot, collect the second strand together with the next strand from the second knot in, and knot them together as before, about 5 centimetres below the previous row of knots. This will form a diamond shape from the knots and strands. Repeat this along the row, tying together 2 strands that have each come from neighbouring knots. You should have 5 knots on this row, keeping the 2 outer strands separate. Take the first outer strand and bring this back in, tying it together with the next strand from the first knot, leaving another 5 centimetres between knots. Continue to repeat along the row, bringing 2 strands from different knots together until you have a third row made up of 6 knots. Your final knot should bring the other side's outer strand back in to be tied into the 6th knot. You should now be able to gather the ends of all your strands together to see the form of a net taking shape. If you don't have enough length left to knot the ends of the strands together like the top knot, take another piece of twine and tie this around the bottom, pulling it nice and tight so that all the strands are secured together. Unattach your net if you had it tied to something for resistance, and you can see that you've created a structure that's able to hold small objects, like this apple. So now you've made your own fishing net, you're going to use it to have a competition with each other, which your leader will explain to you now. If you've enjoyed learning how to macrame, you can take this skill further. For example, this plant pot holder has been made using the same macrame technique that you used to make your fishing net.